This is Andy Porowal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Steve Bunt out here in Poland. Steve, it's always a pleasure. We've just had a workout today. We saw Daniel Dubois hitting the pads, Alexander Usyk kind of doing his little tricks with the balls, hitting it off his head. What do you make of what we saw, though, especially of Daniel?
Well, Daniel did an awful lot of work considering the heat. I mean, this was really hard. And, you know, if we were thinking that Dan was going to maybe go to the body, he just hit Don Charles's body with a body bag about 350 times, showing us that's what he's going to do. It's no secret, that's what he's going to do. Actually, it was bizarre considering the heat. I was amazed they worked out for as long as they worked out. What we saw from Usyk was an incredibly relaxed Usyk, but he's under pressure. You know, 1 in 3 people in this town are Ukrainian. Just yesterday he was up in Warsaw, the capital city of Poland, doing launching a charity that helps survivors of the conflict back in Ukraine. So it's under a lot of pressure, you know, and I don't think, he told me something interesting, Usyk. He said that he doesn't watch television, he doesn't have to. He speaks to people that are on the front line. So he gets his news from the people who are making the news. Now, the dangerous side of that, Andy, remember, is quite simple. What if one of the people you speak to tells you about someone you speak to who's been killed or injured that day? That could happen. And it has happened. It's happened to him. It's happened to Alex Krasik, his promoter, close friend and translator. It's happened lots of times. Not once or twice, hundreds of times, it seems. So he's under pressure. You know, this is a massive Ukrainian homecoming, even though it's 10, 12 hours away from Kiev by train. It's a massive homecoming.
Steve, with the fight itself, obviously Alexander, despite that pressure, he is a huge favourite heading into this. It's a tall order for anybody, never mind Daniel Dubois on Saturday night. How do you expect it to play out? Do you give Daniel much of a chance?
I give Daniel not just a puncher's chance. I think that's a little bit of an easy way out. You know, Daniel needs to punch hard, but he can't. If he goes looking for Alexander Usyk, it would be one of the dumbest moves. If he goes looking for Alexander Usyk and knocks Usyk out in round 5, that would be ridiculous. It's never going to happen. He's got to set stuff up. He's got to look at the body. He's got to aim for the chest, aim for the arms. And what people sometimes forget with Usyk is he's not a very busy fighter. You know, he's not a busy man. He's not like Evander Holyfield throwing loads of punches. Not even like Anthony Joshua throwing lots of big jabs, jab, 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 big left hand, right hand. No, he's not that busy. So you can outwork him, you can make him work. And I think that's where the tactic for victory is, somewhere in the middle of just making him work and catching him and hurting him, so keeping him, as we say, honest. But it's so many things need to fall into place. And also Usyk needs to be under pressure, because all the biggest shocks in history, once you analyse the shock, the person that's lost, the person who was the absolute massive favourite, there were always unbelievable reasons why he lost. Not just in the high profile fights, but in sometimes the smaller fights lower down the card. There's always a big reason. And unless I very much misunderstand the way Usyk lives and the way Usyk prepares for a fight, there doesn't seem to be a single problem in his life, apart from the fact that friends of his are dying 12 hours away because they're being bombed every night. Take that away, and he's lived with that for 18 months. There's no problems in his life.
Steve, I just want to stick with the heavyweight division, just get your thoughts on a couple of other fights being spoken about. Obviously, Joshua Wilder is one everybody's hopeful we see him in the new year. A lot of people critical of his performance against Robert Helenius. What did you make of that performance, and how would you rate his chances against Deontay Wilder from the most recent version we saw?
People have been critical of Anthony Joshua since he went to the Olympics. And it's amazing how we are so outrageous sometimes in our support of guys like Joshua. People would be critical of him if he'd have hit Helenius on the chin in the first round. They would have said it was 10 seconds slower than Deontay Wilder did it. Have you ever seen the punch Deontay Wilder knocks Helenius out with? He's off balance. It's a classic Wilder shot. His feet are wrong. It's a ridiculous shot, and Helenius is coming onto it. Go and look at the way AJ, that's a textbook knockout. He throws two jabs that are going to take Helenius' eyes away. Then he throws a perfect right hand. He's poised, he's balanced throughout. If he gets anywhere near to landing that shot on Wilder, Wilder's going to get knocked out. Let's get that absolutely right. You know, Tyson Fury hit him on the ear, on the shoulder, on the back of the neck, on the top of the head, on the forehead, on the nose, and he went crashing down. AJ hits him flush on the chin, he knocks him out. I'd love to see that fight happen. There's all sorts of things that we're hearing, but you know what? It's been 3 years of hearing so many things. Then we must have heard 1,000 different heavyweight stories in the last 3 years. It turns out 999 of them are rubbish.
And the other one, and you mentioned him, Tyson Fury, obviously he's getting ready for the Francis Ngannou fight. What are your thoughts on that, Steve? And again, the critics who have picked up on that, not getting to see the Usyk fight, granted he obviously has to deal with Daniel Dubois now, but a lot of people wanting to see him defend his world title against an actual heavyweight challenger. As a wasp flies right by my neck.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Well, I've got no problem with the Ngannou fight. He's making a lot of money, and Ngannou's making a lot of money, and it's a fight that's going to bring a lot of eyeballs to the sport. If you're a hater of the Misfits or anything that Jake Paul or Logan Paul do or KSI does or been doing even before they had Misfits, then of course you're going to hate that fight. It's a reality. And as Frank Warren said, vote with your pocket, don't watch it. You know, maybe I'll be working on the fight with TNT, maybe I won't. But I was on record when that fight was first announced and saying I got no problem with this fight at all. It's a mismatch, but I've had no problem with other mismatches. Let's get that absolutely right. And I don't want to hear anything about how dangerous Ngannou is. If Tyson Fury gets even half clipped, I'd be stunned. I would classify that as a bad night for Fury if he gets even half clipped. He's got every single thing. Remember, Ngannou's the exact same size as Dillian Whyte. We've painted Ngannou as a beast, as a monster, okay? He's the same height as Dillian Whyte. He's about 4 pounds heavier, okay? And his reach, I think, is 1 or 2 inches less. How's that a beast? No one ever called Dillian Whyte the beast, the monster, the ogre, going into that fight. But we've painted this picture of Ngannou like he's the second coming. He's not the second coming. Let's get that absolutely right. He's under no circumstances is he the second coming. He's a fantastic man who's brave, who's bold, who won't go down easily. But if he hits Tyson Fury with a shot, how? How does he hit Tyson Fury with a shot? Wilder struggled to hit him with a shot. Most heavyweights have struggled to hit him with a shot. How does he hit him with a shot? I don't see it.
Right, Bunty, I said 5 minutes, was probably slightly over that, so I'm going to leave you to shoot off now before all these wasps start taking us to a different place. So thank you for speaking to me in Boxing News.
It's a pleasure, boys. Thanks.